Okay. Callum Burke asked a really good defense for over under when they're in really deep. Really deep has like different levels, but I'll show you my kind of default response for dealing with over under, uh, both like when they're deeper and when they're a little bit more shallow. So let me switch it over to the mat cam. Boom. All right, here we go. Oh man, we're so pro now. Although I can't really see what they can see, I have to kind of. Actually, I can turn the laptop actually. There we go. Cool. All right. Boom. All right. So first thing, let's be on this side. In fact, okay. You know the over under rate. Yeah. So you're here, right? First thing I always look to do as soon as they start entering, I'm always trying. This is early, and then I'm going to show late stage. As soon as they start trying to go for this, I always try to double frame on the bicep or the shoulder in the bicep and get my knee above their bicep. If I can get a hold of this, it's very hard for them to regain this position to continue with the pass. So for me, go ahead and grab that. Yeah, again, even if he starts to get there a little bit, I'm always trying to extract that knee early. And as long as I can get this knee out, I can usually then start working this foot back in. Sometimes if he's got a good grip on my hip or something here, I'll grab over the back with this left arm and extend my leg really far. Let's turn around the other side so they can see that. And if like he's tight here, I grab over the back and I extend this leg really far, and then I can kind of push him this way, and that'll often get him off. And that's actually the second counter I was going to show is like if the guy's in here and I feel like it's really difficult, I just focus on framing. I go over the back here, and I'm going to grab his like some material right here. And now what I do is even if he's really tight here on the hip, I'm going to extend my left leg really far, and now I'm going to bring my knee like behind his head, right? And I drive with my bicep his head to the other side of the hip here, and I drive him to the floor like this. Okay, so we'll turn angle again. That's right. We're here, I extend, and I drive him over. Once I drive his head down, I'm going to pull my right arm out and I'll grab the belt if there's a belt. If there's no belt, I'll just grab some material and I try to pin the back of his head with my forearm here. And now it's really easy to set up. I use my left arm and grab the back of the leg and I drive him over to come up on top. If you don't get the sweep, you'll at least get a really great sweep opportunity with it. So it's very, very strong. What? Taking the gi off. All right. Cool. Let's see what other questions we got here. So, Ellen Arenspia. Hi, John. Hope all is well. When trying to enter the matrix position, back take, my much larger opponent dropped the knee of the leg I underhooked onto my chest, and I couldn't move from there. Tips for that. Ellen, when they drop, what guard were you coming from when you did it? So you have the underhook on the leg, but what guard were you in before? Was it from like an omoplata? Was it from cross guard? Like what position were you in that came from? In the meantime, I'll take some other questions. Hi, John. What is your favorite back escape? To be honest, like I just really am big on not allowing them to take my back. My actual back escapes are not that great, but I use kind of the classic one. I can show it really quick. Boom, switch to the mat cam, which I can do it actually without the gi, which is basically when I'm here if he's got the hook in on this, yeah, here, like this, I always try to go to the side, the way his choking hand is, which is the top arm, I'm going to go the direction that hand is pointing, right? So I focus on grabbing this sleeve or wrist first, and then I grab the shoulder with my right hand here and pull this way. And I want to go towards this way. If I go this way, he can choke me with the arm. It's hard to choke with the top arm, right? So I go here, I pull tight to make it hard for him to rotate this back. And now I'm going to try to get my head on this side and work my way out here and flatten my body out this way here and slowly try to work my way back to my guard or half guard. Again, hold on a sec. Yeah, again, that's not my first choice. I'm trying to avoid letting them get my back in the first place. So it's certainly not my specialty doing back escapes, but that's the one I go for. But I'm usually pretty good about not allowing it up front. Whitney said the video is a little overexposed on the Brio 4K. Yeah, it's kind of hard with the webcam on that one. So the this camera is like really really good, but the webcam we can't really fix that. So, but Matthias is going to be getting a new camera soon, so we're going to double up on the cameras, and it's going to be super high end on both. Thanks, Whitney. Cross sleeve omoplata type. So Ellen was asking about doing the matrix from the cross sleeve omoplata. I'm presuming that that means from like cross guard. So I'll show you how I do it from there. It's hard for me to kind of understand how they were dropping the knee on you in that situation. In the future, as I kind of evolve these live streams, what I would like to do is actually be able to take a Discord call, and then you could actually, if you have a partner, you could actually demo it for me, and then everyone could kind of see you doing it, and then I could troubleshoot it live. So hopefully I'll be able to do that in the near future. But I'll just try to tackle it right now. Just throw your tap on real quick. Just from crossguard, I'll show you. So, yeah, so like I'm here, right? So with this foot, it's hard to say what exactly was happening. Turn this way a little bit without seeing exactly, but I always kind of have this foot kind of shallow early, and my shin is kind of under his, right? So I don't always go for the matrix. He has to give me the right response. So if I'm here and he starts driving his knee into me, then I might butterfly hook with my right foot here instead of going for the matrix, and I might go under and start off balancing him forward here. And there's a lot of things I can do with that. But if I'm here like this and he postures up like that, that's when I really like to go for it. And also I use the pull of this sleeve because it's going to give me a lot of leverage to posture up a little bit. But yeah, exactly. And then I'm going to clip there, right? And what I really want to focus on is this left leg clipping the far hip because it makes it hard for him to turn to the right to follow me, right? And now I can catch this hip here. I can shrimp out if I need to. If you do it fast, sometimes you don't even have to do that. I come out here and I pull and finish with the classic back take there. Cool. All right. For the rest of you guys, when we're doing the stuff on the mat, can you guys see it well at all? I know it's kind of bright because of the light we're using for this, but are you guys still able to see it? No problem, Ellen. Hope it helped. Quicksand fan asked how long I'm going to be in Norway. I'm not currently sure. I'm kind of waiting on my migration permit to go through right now for Sweden. So if I leave right now, I may not be able to get back in the country. So I'm just trying to make the most of the training right now while dealing with the migration office in Sweden to see what happens next. Have any tips for passing the keymaster? Rich Hates Jiu-Jitsu asks. So first off, it kind of comes down to kind of defining what the keymaster is. So to me, the keymaster is a hook, right? It's probably better I show this on the mat. Okay, so turn this a little bit so I can see. Cool. All right, so let's do it from here. So the keymaster hook, so lead with this, like, yeah. So the keymaster hook is basically this left foot here hooking on the thigh, okay? Now, that's a keymaster hook. In the same way that you have like a De La Hiva hook, right? There's a lot of different grips I can have while having a keymaster hook, right? So for example, stand up and just right leg lead. Okay, this is a De La Hiva hook, okay? I can use collar sleeve with a De La Hiva hook, cross sleeve with the De La Hiva hook, cross guard with the De La Hiva hook, double sleeve with the De La Hiva hook. I could do sit-up guard with a De La Hiva hook. There's a lot of variations of using a De La Hiva hook. So when someone says De La Hiva guard, they usually mean you're holding the ankle, but it can be kind of broad. Same idea in the keymaster, right? So we could be here and I could have the cross collar grip and the far sleeve, and it's like collar sleeve with a keymaster hook. It could be cross collar with the far pant leg. It could be a cross sleeve with an underhook. And all of these are going to kind of require different solutions. So it's kind of hard to say that there's like defining it as the keymaster guard, it's kind of like saying De La Hiva guard. It is a position that they kind of all function together, but there's no simple answer. It all depends on the grip that the guy has. What I would say, go down, is in general being able to deal with the far side collar sleeve is a big aspect of being able to deal with it. So for those who don't know, go down. Far side collar sleeve is basically, instead of the guy having this sleeve in my collar, which is most people right leg lead, that's the collar sleeve they have, the guy has it on the side that's back. And this can be difficult because it's hard to push this leg down and it just functions very differently. So this position will often happen because the passer on top will be controlling this bottom leg trying to look up to set up a pass. When you grab it, he often will break the grip, break it, and now put your foot on my hip. And then we end up in this position. It's very dangerous. There's a lot of attacks. If I cut in with the knee, the keymaster hook will start happening, and a lot of things will come from here, right? So when I'm dealing with the far side collar sleeve, one thing I like to do is early on when I grab this pant, I like to keep my palm open this way, because one of the best counters for dealing with the far side collar sleeve is that I want to loop his wrist. So if I'm here and he has this sleeve and I can loop my hand here, it's very hard for him to continue holding this. I can pull up and break. So when I'm here like this and I kind of use my forearm to frame this, even if he breaks this grip, I'm already above this, right? So now I can cup his hand here. Usually I'll grab the sleeve and pull back like this, and I'll circle to my right and set him in the classic De La Hiva guard. And once I set the classic De La Hiva guard, then I can start trying to set up knee cut passes. So usually what I'm doing is trying to stiff arm with my right arm to counter pressure that collar grip. So go down. So if he's got this collar grip, he's pulling my posture in, right? So I want to have counter pressure on him with my right arm like this. So he's here. See, that gives me counter pressure. Now I'll start grabbing here like this. If he doesn't do anything, sometimes I can use this to turn it into a Toreando on the other side. So often he'll go here and he'll try to break this. Boom, I grab his sleeve, I pull it tight, and I try to center him back to the middle. Now I deal with these grips, and I start trying to set up a knee cut pass. That's kind of a loose general answer, but I think you can get a long way with that. But of course, there's a lot of variations of the keymaster. Okay. What have you struggled most rolling with Tommy and Espen? What positional developments have you learned from them? I would say with Espen, it's like we've been doing a lot of specific sparring in the De La Hiva, so it kind of like fluctuates day to day. In the beginning, it was I was doing my De La Hiva passing systems, and we were having good scrambles there. But then he started adding in more lapel stuff, and then that gave me a really hard time for a long time. So not so much worm guard, but more using the lapel in the De La Hiva, because usually I feel very good in De La Hiva trying to pass, but utilizing the foot on the lapel a bit. Really stifles a lot of the attack systems that I use when I'm passing De La Hiva. So then that kind of like offset the entire system. Then we spent a lot of time working on that, and then he evolved to doing underhook De La Hiva, and that was extremely difficult, still really is. And then we worked on passing that for a while, and then now we have some good solutions for that, and now it's kind of all of them mixing together. With Tommy, I would say when he gets in on a really good aggressive stack pass position, it's very, very powerful, right? So a lot of that for me is just trying to grip fight up front early. If I let him get in really deep, it's really hard, right? But a lot of that is the grip fighting up front early. And then also with Tommy, I think something that a lot of people don't know about is he's got obviously an amazing far side collar sleeve, but also he's got a really good half guard game. So I think in general, they're just really well rounded. But the training has been amazing. We're just doing so much specific training, also utilizing a format of training that they do a lot that I'm really starting to implement a lot now too, which is like, call it like light resistance drilling. And it's basically where one person sweeps and then passes, and then the other person sweeps and then passes. And then the person who's defending, you can start light at first, but as you pick up the speed and the difficulty, you slowly resist more and more, and it gets to a point where it's almost like a full sparring round. But because you know who's gonna win, you kind of like drop the ego a bit, and both people can try more things, right? So let's say that I'm going with whoever, and then they're the sweeper, so they're gonna sweep me. I can resist and try to pass and go really hard, but I'm never gonna fully finish the pass, right? Like even if I get close, I'll back off. They're gonna win, right? But I'm gonna make them get a sweep or a submission that's legitimate. I'm not going to just give it to him and be goofy. I'm going to make him work for it, right? So obviously, if like I'm way more experienced than the person I'm working with, then I can set the pace and I can try to pass, work stuff, but ultimately I'm going to let them get the attack in, right? If they're already way better than me or something, then I'm going to just try as hard as I can to pass, and they're probably going to sweep anyway if the person you're rolling with is way better than you, right? But that format of training, I think it allows both people to open their game up a bit. You still get very realistic looks at things, and it helps evolve a lot. So that's a huge addition to my training. The specific training is huge, and I think that's something that when I came here, I feel like Tommy and Espen utilized that light resistance drilling a lot, and it's great for developing transitions and kind of learning how to connect positions. But I think they use specific training a little bit less. They said they wanted to use it more, but they hadn't done it a lot. And so since I've been here, especially me and Espen have just been doing specific training in these positions for like 2 hours each session, sometimes twice a day like that, and going really deep. But I think the best is when you can mix them, when you do the specifics for going really deep and troubleshooting positions with small grip changes, and then the light resistance drilling as a way to kind of develop transitions and connections. All when you put those two together, it's super powerful. And I think like realistically, you can go super hard with that kind of training, maybe even harder, but it drops the ego a little bit, and both people are willing to open up more and evolve. And I think the majority of your training should be some format of that stuff. And then maybe once or twice a week you do like rounds where you're really trying to win, where like your ego is involved and you don't want to lose. But I think if you do all of your trainings with like kind of like more ego style sparring, it's I think it's a lot harder to evolve because you may be fighting a guy you want to win against, and oh, I could go for that new technique I learned, but you're kind of like, but if I go for it I might miss it, and then he might get it, so then both people lock up. But when you have these like formats of training, both specific training and the light resistance drilling, it allows you to open your game a lot more with realism. It's not just fake drilling, light. So then you evolve a ton from it. So I think utilizing those two things is the fastest way to fast improve your game, as well as like studying video a lot, which I think I'm probably going to start doing live streams now that I'm getting decent with this stuff, where I actually just do my own film study, which I do every day, and then I'll just do it live with you guys. So you can watch me go through the process of how I film study and how I evolve. Great question. Um, Ezra asked how much longer am I in Norway. Someone asked that earlier, but basically I'm not sure yet. It depends on my permit and stuff, but at least a few more weeks. So we'll see. Um, hey John, any tips on finishing guillotines? Honestly, I'm not the best at guillotines, so I'm not the best person to ask that question. Uh, is this street jujitsu or are his gis in the laundry? This is street jujitsu, bro. No, yeah, some gis are in the laundry, and I just kind of didn't want to fully switch out, so we're just throwing the gi top on to do it simple. This is a makeshift gym in my Airbnb. Uh, Ezra Paul asked advice on becoming successful in jiu-jitsu, like being a high-level competitor and training full-time and stuff like that. Good question. I mean, there's a lot of factors to it. One thing I would say is whatever your training model is, it has to be enjoyable for you. If you're training in a way that it's like miserable and you're just like having to use discipline all the time to train, I think that's not going to work out, especially if you're not on performance enhancers. You're going to hit a burnout. You just get sick of it, right? Like you get the best at jiu-jitsu, in my experience, and I've talked with Espen and Tommy about this at great length, when you're really enjoying your training, when you're waking up like, oh my God, I can't wait to get to the gym. I can't wait to get to the gym. Like you have to have that kind of energy. And that can be different for different people. People learn differently. People have different motivations. Some people come in, they're fired up by having like a war with someone, right? Other people like to come in and kind of like problem solve or whatever, right? But like you need like the right mix of things. Obviously, like if you're just drilling and you find that fun and you never spar, you're also not going to improve. So you have to have some balance, but you have to figure out how to strategically design a schedule that is enjoyable for you and provides you what you need. I would say one of the biggest things people aren't utilizing is film study, right? Like, um, one conversation with a person who has more experience than you, they can save you just hundreds of hours, thousands of hours of effort in something, right? So, like for example, when I do the Leandro Low knee cut, and then also the crab ride stuff, working with Espen and Tommy on this stuff, right? So I had a conversation with Espen about this, and we're looking at the crab ride, and that was one of the main reasons I came here. Is like I was trying to figure out a lot of the stuff myself, and there's things that maybe I would have done wrong for like 6 months that like he spent 5 years to develop, and he understood instead of inverting on the neck, you roll over the forehead or something like that, and he can give that to me in one class, one session, and boom, I level up, right? So then like he's working on the Leandro Low knee cut, and a lot of people they post their hand when they go, and I did that like that for like 6 years, and then like one day watching video and playing with it, I discovered pulling up on the arm when you hit the cut makes a huge difference in being able to pull it off, right? And then I was able to show him that on the first day, so he got to learn something that took me 6 years of doing it incorrectly to discover that I was doing wrong, and he learned that in one day. And then I got to work with him and learn something in one day that probably took him 4 or 5 years of studying to figure out. So if you want to bridge the gap versus people who are more physical and more gifted than you or have better training partners, if you can't ask higher level people than you, then watch video. Because if Leandro Low is in Brazil and the gym he's training at has like 70 black belts on the mat, and they're going all day with each other trying to figure out how to pass worm guard, and I'm not training like, I'm training with like 2 blue belts at my home gym, and I see video online and I see Leandro use some grip to get around the worm guard, of course I'm going to borrow that, because I'm basically just skipping the 500 hours he went through to discover that grip change that makes him able to get out of the position, and I'm just borrowing it from one video clip. So to bridge the mat time that is required to achieve a high level, if you watch a lot of film, you can just extract small details from people really fast without you having to do the thousands of hours to figure out these details. And that's something you can do when you're off the mat. There's only so much physically you can do in a day. If you're doing like 4 hours of hard sparring a day, you can't do 10 hours. So you can do 4 hours of hard sparring or 3 hours of hard sparring and an hour of film study and note taking, and it may make more of a difference than another 3 hours of sparring would have, just because of smart stuff. So you need to spar hard, but then also analyze and reflect after the sparring to try to make changes. Great question. Okay, let's see here. Ryan. Hey John, I just jumped in the stream. Hope you didn't answer this already. How do you like to deal with the headquarters position when you're on bottom? Okay, Ryan. So the HQ position is just basically like your leg is trapped and they have a lapel, right? So I'll put the gi top on real quick. Switch up to the mat. Okay, so defining what the HQ is first. So basically the HQ is just grab my lapel with your right hand, right? And then you have this like trapped in between. Okay, so this is basically, there we go. Okay, so basically the HQ is he's here, pull the elbow, the lapel tight kind of thing. Yeah, and he's kind of like in this kind of a position here. Okay, so to me, I don't really think people refer to this as I'm in HQ, but there's so many different grips I could have here. It doesn't really define where we are, right? Or how you got here. Because if I have collar or sleeve, it's different than if I'm here and I have collar ankle, and that's different if I have collar underhook or double sleeve. So they're all different, right? So how are you getting here is one big thing, right? But I would say the simple answer, just grab the ankle here. The simple answer here is, for me, I would just say lasso with your left foot, hold the sleeve, right? Push on his shoulder with the left foot to get space. And now I can bring my right knee back to my chest and get my foot in the bicep, right? So anytime the guy tries to trap this leg, just lasso, left foot on the shoulder, push. If I need to, turn around here, go over there. Yeah. If I need to, I can push on the shin as well. If he comes at me with a shoulder, I can push on the shoulder or the shin, and I push with this left foot. I bring my right knee to my chest and put the right foot back in the bicep. Now, if he keeps grabbing, I can grab double sleeve. Now I have control. I'm in double sleeve. From here, I could start shooting triangles, or I could switch up to whatever I want, or I could go to collar sleeve and start attacking omoplatas and start building from there. So I think the lasso push to get your right leg out is a great answer. If you have collar and pant leg, it's a little bit of a different question, but I would just focus on lassoing. It's the easiest, quick answer I could give. Aaron Watson is asking, let's see. Aaron Watson is asking, how do you prevent the deep daily hiva? I try to keep my knee out, but I get caught with it all the time. Any late defenses? If they already got the deep daily hiva and like it's like daily hiva X or it's really deep, then it's very difficult. I think probably you should put more of your concern in why are you getting hit with the deep daily hiva. What grips do they have with you? This is Aaron Watson, right? What grips do they have on you when they're setting the position up? Like, are they setting it up from collar ankle, from cross sleeve ankle, far sleeve ankle? Like, what grips do they have before they get to it? Sweden is Norway or Sweden? Oh man, you're gonna get me in trouble. That's a hot topic. The Norwegians asked me that early, and I said some statements that I think my Swedish friends probably wouldn't like, so we're gonna stay off that. Uh, Cross sleeve or ankle. Okay, if they have the cross sleeve, that's already a lot of damage control. It's a tough position. I would say the big thing is that kill the daily hiva leg first. You really want to be pushing that daily hiva leg down. What is your right hand usually doing? Is it on the lapel or are you on the daily hiva leg? Or are they like just they already have your sleeve across and you don't have anything? Brad Bettis asked any new instructionals in the works, John. I'm doing one for Stephen Kesting right now. It's just a closed guard overview system for the entire closed guard, as well as I'm filming my own double sleeve, collar sleeve, daily hiva passing, uh, and collar sleeve passing system. So I'm going to have like 7 or 8 of my own instructionals up soon on my own website. Just basic standalone products with entire overviewed systems with like a lot of specific sparring footage in it and a lot of like overview for how to develop these systems individually. So I'm just going to put those up on my site as a place you can buy products, and then I'll just start updating that all the time with stuff on there. And then I'll just be doing a lot of live streams. Let's see. Any plans to make a video about the over/under pass from Hassan Ali? No, not right now. I don't really do the over/under a lot, so I feel like if I was going to show that, I would probably have someone else show it. I might have Tommy do a video on his. His is pretty good. I did one before with Andres. If you haven't seen that on the channel, check it out because Andres has some amazing content on his over/under and his stack stuff. It's really, really, a lot of people know him for the worm guard, but his passing pressure is like amazing. Simone de Christina asked, "Hey John, just a question about the matrix position. Can you technically enter it anytime you underhook a leg?" No, not necessarily. I mean, if I'm in the position and I have the underhook on a leg, my free leg needs to be able to throw over, right? So if I have the underhook on the leg and their collar, but they're dominating this top leg really well, it would be hard to throw it over. So just because you underhook the leg doesn't necessarily mean you can hit it. Now, if they get lazy controlling that top leg and you have their knee rotated in, then yeah. I would also say if you have the underhook on the leg and their knee is rotated out really wide, it's also going to be very hard for you to do it. You need to be able to rotate their knee inward to be able to hit it. Let me put it. I'll put it on the mat cam real quick, and I can show that. I don't need to throw the gi on for that. Just go down real quick, bud. Hopefully I didn't mess anything up there. Okay. Yeah, so basically what I mean is the first thing is like if he has this leg dominated, pushed it down, I can't throw my right leg over to go for the matrix. So I can't always go for it in that sense. And then the other one I would say is if I'm here like this and turn your foot out really wide, here, trying to throw the matrix over here, I can't, no, you're fine. I can't chop this down. Turn your toes in now. See, now I can chop down and create the opening. But if that knee is turned out really wide, it's going to be very hard, right? So here I wouldn't try to do that. You could try to buckle it with this maybe. Here I would probably butterfly hook and start working under and start bringing them out. And then now I could start trying to attack the ankle lock. And one of the most common defenses on the ankle lock is to turn the foot inward, right? And then he's going to start setting up there, and you could start hitting from there. So I would say not necessarily will you always be able to. Man, I love the mat cam change. That's so good. I just need a hotkey for it. So boom, boom. Yeah, the switch thing is amazing. Yankee favorite under pass prevention or defense. So actually that was, I think, the first question someone asked on the live stream. So if you just go back on the repeat, you'll be able to see the breakdown of how to deal with the over under. What is the most underrated move in BJJ from Student Says? That's tough. I think the double sleeve triangle choke, I think that's extremely powerful. I think double sleeve in general is probably one of the most underrated. I think a lot of people just like they think of it as like spider guard, like when you hold both sleeves, but spider guard's just one aspect of double sleeve. But like with double sleeve, you completely control the guy's hands. If you know how to do it properly, the guy can't get out. It's so hard to get out of it. You have fast triangles, and like no matter how good the guy is, if he hasn't experienced one of those fast triangles before, they get caught like this. One of my friends in Sweden, Ahmad Amran, trains in Stockholm at Prana. And like I've always played spider guard a lot, but I never did those fast hip up triangles before. And he's the first guy I saw do it a lot. And then I also saw Felipe Andro do it a lot. And then I added it into the double sleeve game I already had. And just immediately I started hitting triangles all the time. They're so hard to predict. It's the same one that Keenan got hit with by Felipe Andrew. Such a powerful attack. And yeah, after seeing Ahmad do that, adding it into my game just made a huge difference. And I think it's so easy to hit on anyone who doesn't know it's coming, regardless of their level. It just takes one slip up and you can finish. So I think that's a really powerful one. Actually, Ahmad caught Mateos Gabriel with it, the current black belt world champion in featherweight, when they were at purple belt. Just caught him with that same thing he catches everyone with. Let's see. Tony, what's up, Tony? What is your go-to option if you are passing De La Hiva with the collar and legs stuffed when they lasso? Okay, what is your go-to option if you are passing De La Hiva with the collar and legs stuffed and they lasso? Okay, so you're saying you're passing De La Hiva and your right hand is holding their lapel and your left hand is holding their ankle or pant leg and you have it trapped and now they lassoed while holding your pant leg? Does that make sense, Tony? In the meantime, while we wait for Tony, John Park asked, when you play Spider Guard, do you ever attack with the foot in their armpit instead of the traditional foot in the crook of their elbow? Yeah, I do actually. It's not that many situations. Usually it's for the wheel sweep versus one knee up. So that's usually when I do it. I'll show that now along with answering Tony's question, which he said yes. So let me cut over to Jiu-Jitsu Cam. Okay, so real quick, I'll show the spider guard question with the foot in the armpit. So one of the situations I'll use it a lot, let's have Matthias be here. Okay, so if I have like lasso, leg pass body, and he goes one knee up, so put this knee on the floor. Yeah, exactly, and he goes one knee up like this. One thing I'll often do, put the knee in the center. Yeah, exactly. He'll be kind of like this, and usually his heel is to his butt, maybe. Yeah, exactly like this, right? So here what I do is I have this one, and I come in here. I like to go in the armpit here. For whatever reason, I feel like you get way better off balance to pressure up there, and you get that really nice sweep over there. And a lot of times I'll half do that sweep, so he'll be there, and I just start to off balance, and then I just hit the triangle there. That's a really good one. For Tony's question, he was asking about the De La Hiva. Let me turn this a little bit. Okay. Tony's question, he was asking about the De La Hiva. What do I do when they lasso? So for one, the lasso doesn't happen to me that often because I'm usually killing the De La Hiva leg. If you're on the lapel, then they can lasso. So usually for me when this will happen is I'll be here, maybe he's got this leg out or something, and I feel it's really hard to trap the leg. This can often happen. Maybe the guy grabs my collar and like kind of stiff arms into my neck or something. I'll grab this lapel and I pull it. Stay on the pant. Yeah. Yeah, just hold the pant leg. Yeah, there you go. And I'll pull this and I start trying to pressure in here like this. From here, often they will lasso, okay? So, no, keep the pant leg though. Turn this way. Okay, I'm going to let go of this so they can see. So when Tony said lasso, a lot of people, they think of the lasso to mean the guy always has the sleeve grip. He doesn't necessarily have to. Lasso just means the guy's going over top your arm with the foot, okay? So here he's lassoing his foot, right? But he doesn't have the sleeve. He's staying on the pant leg. So when I'm here, and I just killed this leg out to the side here, and I did this, and he lassos here, Here, a lot of times what I'll do is I release and push this down, and then you can throw there. Leandro does that all the time. Who most recently did? If you watch Leandro versus Nicholas Mergali from Worlds, the last time they fought at the Worlds in the final, Lowe almost passes with this. He lands directly on side control. Mergali gets out at the last second, but he like hits it super cleanly. So that's a really good one. Just anytime they lasso, step off that leg and then throw it past. I'll do it one more time. So for example, if I was here and this leg was killed, right, I would be here pushing this down. He lassos, right? I step off, and you see how this is angled. I just push it here, boom, and throw it and drop. No, meant to take off the key, not the headset. What? All right. Keen, oh my God, that's a tough name. Keen Giltrim Indre said this is awesome. Well, happy you're enjoying it, bud. It's a lot of fun for me too. I like this setup where I actually have a partner I can demo stuff, and we got the high quality camera, the webcam for the mat. We're gonna try to get a better camera for the mat soon too, so then we can like double up. So cool. All right. Mihai Mahulia, do you play single leg X guard? What do you do if you're in single leg X guard and your standing opponent has a pant grip? There's a lot of variations of that. So if I'm in single leg X and my opponent has a pant grip, I'm not sure which leg you mean. It could be on my leg that's on the hip, or it could be my leg that's in between his. Usually I'm looking to grab the far pant leg and then just drive with my knee to drop him back. I'll just show that really quick. Yeah, so if I was here like this, I lift my hip up in the air and I go here, and then I'm going to look to grab here. If this is close, I'll take it. He's usually a little bit further away, and then I'll have to grab here because I find that to be less useful. I grab a little bit more towards the knee on this one because it pulls it in, and then I want to lift up and drive my knee. You can try to clip this knee here, or I lift up and I drive the knee into his hip and push him down, and then I come up, pull the legs in, and now I can start trying to pass from here. Cool. Oh, did it cut out? Brian Jordan said he can't hear me. Can everyone else still hear me, or is it gone now? Stefan the Third said we've been smashing each other just doing rounds, but I'm not sure we're progressing as much as we could if we did positional sparring or something. Yeah, 100%. A lot of people get really sucked into this whole like you got to go hard, bro thing, and like of course you do have to go hard at times for sure, but a lot of people, it's a really weird phenomenon that happened because like when I started jiu-jitsu, I started because I saw Royce Gracie in the UFC, small skinny guy beating up super giant like steroided out guys, wrestlers who are like 100 pounds heavier than him. The whole idea of it was using your brain to have technical, tactical solutions to beat someone who's bigger and stronger than you with good technique. That was the whole idea, right? Somewhere along the way, this whole mindset of like just go fucking hard became like really popular, and of course there's a place for that, but like you have to use your brain, right? Like you can't, there's a limit to how much going hard is the answer, right? And so everyone who's like, oh, you're just a wimp, you need to go hard, it's like, okay, so let's say someone trains 2 times a day every single day, which to me, I think that's overtraining for most people. Depends on how you train, but by 2 times a day I mean like super hard, twice a day, every day. So those people could say you're a wimp if you don't do that, but then why not go 4 times a day at that point, right? Then they would be like, oh, well, 4 times a day is too much. It's like, okay, well now we're just arguing about how many is too much. Is 2 times a day too much? Is 4 times a day too much? Is once every day a week too much? Where's the limit for too much, right? Now that's just a question for science. Like what is it? What does the data show is too much hard anaerobic training before you can recover? Most people who recommend doing like some form of anaerobic workout, they say do it like 2 to 3 times a week, not 2 times a day every day. If you look at someone who runs like a competitive like 5K or something, they don't run at their like competition race every day, twice a day. Like they maybe do it once a month, and then a lot of it is like tune-up stuff, right? So the idea of going hard twice a day every day is kind of ridiculous, right? The whole purpose to me of really hard rounds like that is to get feedback that what you're doing is working, right? So if I twice a week go with like the top guy at my gym that's really tough and we treat it like a tournament, we're trying to murder each other, and that's really intense and really stressful and we go at it, right? And I lose, that's my ultimate feedback. Okay, man, something's wrong. Something went wrong here. When I got put in underhook daily hiva, I had no idea what to do. Okay, now I know the problem. Now the next couple sessions, the next 3 or 4 sessions is going to be more technical work starting in the underhook daily hiva, trying to patch it, right? But if you just go in there going psycho every time and not analyzing what's happening, you're just going to keep making the same mistakes, right? I mean, think about a good analogy for it is like, imagine if you took 5 guys who've never trained jiu-jitsu. Okay, they've never trained jiu-jitsu at all, and you never teach them any technique. You just put them in a room and just go, okay, you're going to try to get good at jiu-jitsu. You're not going to study anything. You're not going to look online to learn how to do an armbar. You guys just try to submit each other and go hard as fuck, right? Like, how much wasted time would there be before they accidentally stumble across the idea of an omoplata or a triangle choke? I mean, they may just beat the shit out of each other going crazy for 3 years before someone comes up with the idea that you could actually choke someone with your legs in a triangle choke. So, of course, the best thing for them is to actually research, watch video, learn, and they're going to speed up the learning process. So it's the same for us too, right? If you train at a gym and you have a coach, there's still a lot more that's not in your gym that you can learn online by watching competition and thinking. So a lot of people really undervalue like thinking and analyzation in jiu-jitsu and way overvalue really hard training without thought. End rant. Tintin, I can't agree more. Yeah, totally agree. All right. John Park from double sleeve daily hiva leg pass body. When opponent deadlifts, I've been going to cross sleeve sit up guard, Cobrinha style, instead of far sleeve sit up guard, Lapri style. Thoughts on cross versus far sleeve? Excellent question, John. So for reference for people, let's switch this up. Boom. All right, go up, bud. Okay. What John's asking is when you're playing the double sleeve system, okay, and you have your right leg past the body here like this, here is the guy's deadlifting, so deadlift up, right? I always follow with my upper body so it's easier on the hands. That's a big takeaway if you guys don't know that already. Come back down. A lot of people, they make the mistake, step that way a little bit, yeah. A lot of people make the mistake when someone postures slowly, they try to hold with the sleeves, so go posture slowly. Freeze right here. So they try to stay on the floor and fight with their sleeves, and as he keep going, it hurts your fingers, and that's why people think it hurt, right? But look, I can play spider guard or double sleeve with one finger, deadlift. See? I could do it with just my pinky, right? See, of course I wouldn't do that, right? Because I want to control his sleeves and everything, so grabbing with all my fingers is stronger, and I take out more material so he can't loop, right? But ultimately, it's very easy on the hands. Posture up really hard. See, I just follow. It's really easy, okay? So what his question was, he likes to go to sit-up guard with a cross sleeve here. So posture up really hard. He goes up here, switches to the cross sleeve, and then now you could go to sit-up guard by pushing on the hip. This is the Cobrinha style version. Scoot back this way a little bit. Yeah, so he goes up here, feeds the sleeve, grab the collar, kick out, and you can come up on the single leg. There's go back up. You can also, if they deadlift up really hard, so I can't grab this, like do not let me grab this, then this functions, you got to keep your posture if you can. Yeah, this functions as a way to come up on him. If he doesn't posture, then I'll usually be able to feed this. This is a great system if you can get this sleeve, and in that case, I think it's a really good time to go for it. The Lapri system is with the far sleeve. I really like this one a lot too. I think in this situation, they're both completely valid in this situation, but I do really like this one when I can get it. I think it's really powerful. It's just that it doesn't present itself as often. The benefit of this one is this one's way easier to get to. This one, you have to get this guy's grip off your leg or your lapel, and usually that's pretty hard. With this one, it's pretty easy to get this, because like you'll be here, he grabs my leg or something, I break the grip, I push the hip out, and I go here. So I would say they're both super powerful. I find myself using the Lapri system more. I think the benefit of it is how easily you can get into it. So there's so many situations that you can get into it. It's just as powerful, if not more powerful, than the Cobrinha one, but it's just way more accessible. The Cobrinha one, you can often only get when you get that cross sleeve position and them trying to sit up. But I feel like if the guy knows how to elevate the leg, it can be difficult. It's very hard to get to sometimes. So I think I prefer the Lapri system, but I think in the situation that you're doing it, I think that's the perfect time to actually go for the Cobrinha one, though. From double sleeve, they deadlift, switch cross sleeve, grab the ankle, and go. I think that's really good. All right, guys. Probably going to head off here soon. I'll do one more question. But I appreciate everyone joining in. Pretty soon, we're evolving this technology stuff here. We're going to start doing it so that if you guys have Zoom or Discord or something, if you guys have a question, you can come into the chat and I'll just stream it with like, two cams so we can see what you're doing. And then you can demo the technique and then we can like kind of have a conversation and troubleshoot the problem so everyone can kind of watch and learn from that live. Okay, so one more question. Really appreciate all the questions, guys. Sorry I couldn't get to everyone. It's really cool to see so many people in here. 1010, great live stream as always. Thanks a lot, 1010. Let's see here. Can you? Let's see. So best advice for studying and breaking down film. I'm going to start trying to do some live streams where I just actually study film myself during it, and I'll walk you guys through the process completely. So just look out for that, and that'll help a lot. But I would say the big thing, this is a pretty common question people ask. I would say the big thing with it is just focusing, there's different ways to do it. There's not one way to study. Sometimes I just watch a lot of video to get like creative ideas and just see different stuff. And then sometimes I'm like looking for something in particular. So like, for example, me and Espen have been doing a ton of specific sparring starting in De La Hiva. And then one of the things that he has been doing that was annoying in the beginning was he keeps his right leg a little bit more wide, right? Where more normally it's closer and you can kind of push it down. So he keeps it a little bit wider and it's harder to get a good grip on the ankle. So that's kind of difficult. So then I go through all sorts of video of like Leandro, Adolfo, Lucas, just to see if I can find any clips of them in De La Hiva in that situation and see what kind of grip they play with, right? And then recently today we started playing with this idea of grabbing like a horizontal grip on the outside of the leg and pulling it into you instead of trying to push it down, and that actually made a huge breakthrough, and so we're trying to build off that, right? So I think like having problems that you have in the gym, and then going, okay, how do I let me find a good competitor who's in that position and see what grips they do, and then you can try to build off that. Cool. All right, guys. Thanks again for joining in, and I'll do another one of these soon. I usually don't announce it because I just like to make it really impromptu whenever I do it. Okay, guys? All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Awesome.